Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Last Week in Ecom. I'm Brandon,
Jerry.
and what we're going to go over today is a few things. So first of all, we're going to talk about Super Bowl ads, Super Bowl advertising, and some other stuff related to that. We're going to talk about ad revenue from the big platforms. They reported quarterly earnings with some interesting stuff. We're going to talk about some other places that you could potentially think about running ads on and through, as well as highlighting some unique creative of the week. So, first of all, is Super Bowl. Super Bowl is coming up, it's in a few days. And to run a 30-second ad this year, it's $7 million. Obviously, it's a lot of money. The Super Bowl is predicted to be potentially the most watched of all time, if not the most watched in a long time, because of the Taylor Swift effect. So that'll be fun. Maybe flash a little Taylor Swift right here to help our views. And yeah, so we'll see. But $7 million for 30 seconds. That's the breakdown. So, this little tweet that I tweeted in July of last year, I tweeted out how you should, or a brand who's considering paying 7 mil to get in front of 150 million, eyeballs, should perhaps consider doing something with Mr. Beast. So the difference is obviously Super Bowl. Yeah, it's very culturally relevant in the moment, but at least in my opinion, once it's done, it's done. Like, maybe Monday, Tuesday, you might talk about, oh yeah, what was your favorite commercial or whatever, but it fades out pretty quickly. Whereas Mr. Beast is this consistent flow of never-ending evergreen views. And on YouTube, his videos average like 200 million views. And then, he's actually started putting them here on X, on Twitter, and, he'll distribute them other places as well. So, and the cost, at least the last time I spoke with his team, to do a sponsored video with Mr. Beast is less than a 30-seconder on the Super Bowl. So yeah, just something to think about, and hopefully you enjoy the Super Bowl this Sunday, and we get a lot of fun ads to talk about.
Brandon won't say it, but he's a Niners fan, and so
Very
he has a
nice.
lot invested in this. And I'll just say that if you are going to capitalize on Super Bowl trends and things like that, then focus on it this week, and you got to move quickly because Super Bowl is the Sunday, and now's the time to capitalize on some of that hype and everything.
For sure.
So next, we wanted to talk about ad revenue from these platforms that we generally are running ads on. So Google and Meta are the two biggest. Google reported being up 13% year over year. Meta up 24% year over year. So they're killing it right now. Amazon ads were up 27% year over year, and Microsoft was up 8%. So what we're seeing is that people are still spending on ads. It's getting more and more competitive. There's more brands spending. Brands are spending a lot more. And obviously, people are still purchasing because ecom continues to grow. So it's important for you to make sure that you're ready to compete with other brands that are going to be showing up in people's social feeds. And there's some big events coming up this year as well that are going to make it even more important to stand out. So there's like the Olympics this summer. We also have the presidential election coming up. So these are major events that are going to be pumping in tons of ad revenue into each of these channels. So it's more important than ever that you have all of the channels that you need to have dialed in. So ad creative, landing pages, SEO, email SMS, CRO, all the stuff that maybe you're doing but not going super hard on because you've just been able to live off of meta ads and Google ads. You really need to start focusing on that in 2024 now if you haven't already. Do you have any?
Yeah, no, I mean, just yeah, it's very important. You really have to be a full funnel, every single channel approach in 2024 and beyond, because the fact that these massive platforms, their revenues do continue to skyrocket, obviously implies that ads, and we know this, that ads just keep getting more expensive. So you can't be so dependent on that. Even though, yeah, sure, it can be the largest driver and the one where you can see the results the quickest and the easiest and whatever. But yeah, don't neglect all the other channels because they're gonna even help your ads perform better if you do them right. Okay, next is sort of piggybacking off of the ad platform discussion is, it's always worth looking into other platforms to run ads. So a couple weeks ago, we talked about how Hexclad, one of the DTC darlings with a killer marketing team. They, according to them, they cracked Twitter ads last year and are now looking at Snapchat. Um, those are both pretty well established platforms, obviously, but nothing still compared to Meta and Google and stuff. But Brave is a browser, sort of like a private browser mixed in with Web3, and they have 65 million monthly active users. So that's a pretty large user base. And they just opened up a self-serve ads manager there, and the general cost to run ads there is decently cheaper than Meta and Google. So sure, it's an extra lift to run ads through Brave, but it could for sure be worth checking out. And then also Uber. Uber just reported that they're I can't remember if they're on pace or they just did $1 billion in revenue from advertising. So that would be another thing that I would recommend looking into. If you feel like you can't crack the code in the way that you're doing it right now on Google or YouTube or Meta or whatever, then something like Brave or Uber or Reddit or Snap or Twitter, I think are definitely worth looking into.
Cool. So, like we talked about earlier, standing out in the feed is extremely important, and having great ad creative is the way to do it. The goal of any ad creative is to connect with your audience and get them to convert and get them to take action. So, we wanted to share some cool ad creatives that we've made for our clients, as well as some cool ones we saw on X from Dennis. Shout out Dennis from Creative Donut. And anyways, so here are some of the ads that we've mentioned before. We call them Google search ads. So this is one for dough. And what this ad does is basically it puts in the Google search bar a problem or a solution that your customer might be searching for. In this case, it's tailored towards Valentine's Day, which you should be pushing if you're not already. And it just says best Valentine's Day food gifts. And then it's just a bunch of pictures of Dough's products. So it looks like a Google search. It stands out to people because they're familiar with it. And it even gives some authority, right? Because that's where people generally will go when they're searching for a specific product. And then the next one is another one of our clients, Johnny Slicks. And this says best Valentine's Day gifts for him. And it's a bunch of their products, which shout out to them. If you need any good stuff for your man for Valentine's Day, you should definitely try out Johnny Slicks. The next ones are a few that we saw on a thread from Dennis, and one of these is from Emi, and basically it's just with word art. And so this stands out as kind of an ugly ad. It's also just an ad that you can have some fun with, and it's going to be unique in the feed. You're not going to see a lot of other brands running ads like this. So as someone's scrolling, they're going to want to stop and read what the different word art says. And you could put fun USPs in here. You could put just any sorts of jokes or really whatever you want to test with the goal of selling your product. And then the next one we really loved was one from McDonald's, which is also tapping into our familiarity because it's a notification pop up on someone's phone that's a text from their crush. And it's the text from the crush says, going to McDonald's for the $1, $2, $3 menu. Do you want anything? And then the person, it looks like they posted a screenshot of it on their Instagram story or something like that. And it says, do you get texts like these from your crush? And it's just a fun way to stand out. It's a fun way to be playful with your advertising campaign. And people respond well to this stuff. They like it, they stop the scroll, and often they're going to click and purchase.
Awesome. Yeah, those are great examples. Check out the link in the video, and if you're watching the full version, I guess, on X. I'll put it in the next tweet. But we wrote some pretty good in-depth pieces on our blog lately, going over YouTube and some other stuff. So definitely check those out and have a great week. Thank you.